Look, 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 look. Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new edition of Ignorant Sports Talk. I'm Curtis Pankey, joined alongside the boys, Jigs, Jack, Figs, and Fro. A lot of stuff on the table today, boys. NBA's back, NHL's back. Got a lot of NFL news to talk about. MLB may or may not exist anymore. Who knows? So let's start with NBA. And one more time, a round of applause. The NBA is back again, gentlemen. It's a full day of basketball today. But let's start with the games that happened yesterday. So we had some good ones: Houston versus Dallas, Milwaukee, Boston, Portland, Memphis, and then we don't need to talk about Phoenix, Washington, Sacramento, Spurs. Some first thoughts about the NBA yesterday. Whoever wants to lead it off.
Hoodie Mello is back. Hoodie Mello is back, man. Hoodie Mello is back.
I second that. I definitely second that.
One general observation, a lot of teams need to get their defense together because, 150 points is, it's to be expected. Long layoff, not a lot of practice time, but expect defense to start shaping up as these 8 games go on.
Listen.
I agree.
Mike D'Antoni ain't shaping up shit. I'm going to tell you that right now.
He's the one exception.
They ran it exactly how they wanted to.
One thing I could say, though, is I feel like a lot of the players from what I was watching, a lot of them are in shape, but they're not in basketball shape, So, and I think they haven't really been playing competitively, Practice is practice, but it's different when you go against other players who are extremely talented. So I feel like everybody was rusty, but everyone takes that out of account. So it's like, oh, this person's washed or this one's overrated. It's like, yo, it's the first game back. You know what I mean? It's like, we're gonna see what's up in like a couple of weeks or so. So,
Yeah,
120 points is like, yo, look, I ain't played defense in like how many months. So
I think it's fair to ask, though. I think it's very fair to ask, though. Like LeBron's, like, is he over the hill? Is he done?
No.
The gray hairs and the beard, 15 points.
Skip.
Hey, I got to ask you what I be asking Phil ever so often, even though I don't see a bottle. What's in your bottle, bro? What is in your bottle? Listen to me, man. LeBron James just added another game winner to his wide variety of game winners, man. And he shut down Kawhi Leonard and Paul George on the same possession.
He left time on the clock.
Look,
That's
LeBron.
right. He thought he got fouled.
LeBron did LeBron things in that game. He wasn't, like anyone else, came out a little bit rusty, but he took control when he needed to, and he probably gave the best defensive effort I've seen him give in many years. Like, I didn't even know he still had that type of defense one-on-one in him.
year 17. It's year 17, baby. Year 17. So let's take that consideration too. It's year 17. He actually has an excuse, unlike other players. So.
And you know what? I gotta say the 3-month quarantine time off probably benefits him more than any other player.
Oh yeah.
To rejuvenate.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think LeBron's going to play with a full head of steam every single game here on out. Like, these 8 seeding games, whoever they play in the first round of the playoffs, he's not taking one game off. He's going 110% the whole rest of this season.
Yo, hold real quick. Did you guys hear Kawhi Leonard's post-game interview? What they asked him? They asked him about how he felt about, like, the national anthem and kneeling. This guy said, yeah, I was pretty much just listening to the music.
Also the back and forth LeBron and Kawhi had when they both thought, LeBron thought he got fouled, and Kawhi's like, it's all ball,
all ball. Yes.
That
I'm like,
shit had me
different. All ball.
Yo, Kawhi Leonard is the most, he's the most socially awkward basketball player ever, bro.
I hope he never changes. It's amazing.
Also, when they showed the fits when LeBron and Kawhi were walking into the arena and Kawhi's got like baggy shorts and like slides on, just like strolling into the arena.
Did you guys see the meme? Did you see the meme about that? There was like, it was two memes. It was like, you saw LeBron walking in, it was like freshmen in high school.
Yeah.
And then you saw Kawhi, it was like seniors. It was like so funny, man.
And the other one was like, it's like, your girl says you're downstairs. She's downstairs. All right, be there in a minute. Also, I want to give a pat on the back to me and Figs for saying that Giannis and Middleton would come out the gate swinging. Yesterday, him and I and Jermaine had a back and forth about the duo of Giannis and Middleton versus Tatum and Kemba. And Giannis proved us very right yesterday.
Oh yeah, we see how that played out last night. Tatum was out there looking like Jack Jeffries last night, boy. Oh man,
Tatum is overrated.
Oh, there it is.
Ooh, we got some drunk motherfuckers in here.
He's gonna get to superstar status. He's got the potential. He's overrated right now. He's getting too much praise. Gordon Hayward should be the star player of that team right now.
He's just light skinned. That's what it is, bro. You know, they need a little more time to warm up. You know, give him some time.
That's why I haven't made it to the league yet.
You ain't never gonna make it to the league with that headband on.
Yes, Jack. Jermaine was trying to make the case that Kemba and Tatum were a better duo than Giannis and Middleton.
Look, I get Kemba's also not 100% healthy at the moment, but Tatum isn't efficient enough to be to take on Giannis. I'm sorry, Giannis just looks unguardable anytime he's going down.
You know, what I would say is this: like prior to COVID, I think it was much more fair comparison between the two because Tatum was he was on the road. He was in stride. I think it's a little too soon to start making those debates on which is the better duo because I mean technically everyone's still rusty out of rhythm. They haven't really got their feet under them just yet. But even before that, I mean, yeah, you know, Giannis and Middleton, they did get them. You know, they do have bragging rights right now, which, you know, as they should. But I mean, you know, when everyone gets into rhythm, I think it'd be more interesting to visit, you know, when everyone's operating at, you know, maximum efficiency. But I mean, yo, man, you know, you just gotta take that out, you know.
Yeah.
You just gotta take that out. I mean, you know, what Harden say? Well, it's no skill when you just go into the basket and dunking. So, you know, that ball. So,
well,
I guess you can take that consideration.
Yeah, all disrespect to the Raptors, you know, I think that's gonna be the Eastern Conference Finals matchup anyway. So, you know, yeah, we'll find out who the better. We'll find out who the better duo is there. You know what I mean,
we'll beat Boston. I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
I have a feeling Serge is gonna have the whole team on his cooking show, and he's gonna feed the whole team some bullshit, and y'all just gonna be assed out.
Literally bullshit.
Yeah, it would probably literally be that. Yeah.
The Raptors pair up well against the Celtics. And the one thing that I think favors us is length.
Fair enough.
Yeah. You know what? One thing I will say, Spicy P is really to me, Spicy P is really the one on that team that's going to give everyone the most fits on the Celtics for the simple fact, for his position, for his size, and for his skill set, inside, outside. I don't really see no one really being able to really negate him so much. Because Spicy P, I mean, he's extremely talented. You know, his game is not one-dimensional. And he's extremely elusive for his size. So, inside and outside, I feel like that will definitely give the Celtics a huge problem. So I'm curious to see how it plays out, though. You know, if it did come down to it. I like Spicy P.
I forget who they usually put on him when they play Boston.
Because that person's not doing a good job. That's why you're forgetting.
On who they choose to guard Siakam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be Tatum.
I mean, yeah. Actually, I would maybe put Jaylen Brown on him. I mean,
I would
the-
say Marcus Smart, but Marcus Smart is not big enough to affect him. So
That's what I'm
it's good.
saying. Like, if they put
They had-
someone smaller on him, he's just gonna take him down in the post.
Marcus Smart is aggressive though. Like they had him on Giannis a couple plays last night, but
Giannis don't do turnaround jump shots.
true. The key to defending Siakam is you need a strong, bigger dude,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
A Giannis has been effective against Siakam. A Joel Embiid has been effective against Siakam. If anyone is smaller than him, he's gonna take him.
Yeah.
Got the reach, he's got that spin move. You need to put a big, strong body on him that'll stop him getting to the basket.
Question:
That's true.
Has he put on like more mass during quarantine, or does anybody know?
He hasn't looked that different.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything particularly.
At least visibly, he doesn't look different. Maybe it's just, I don't know.
To be honest, I'm just happy our entire team's healthy at one time.
Yeah,
that's a miracle.
That's a blessing, man. That's not a lot of teams can actually say that. That's definitely a blessing, man.
Because, like, what was it? Like, the other 5, like, teams that had missed as many games due to injury as the Raptors, they were all, like, out of the playoffs. They were never in the playoffs to begin with. So, like, it's scary. One other thing I wanted to point out yesterday, I mentioned it a bit yesterday, but Nurkic on the Blazers is a big get for them. Again, he looked really good.
Huge. He looks really good. Like, oh man, yeah, he looked scary yesterday. I ain't gonna lie. With Nurkic in the lineup and Collins back, woo.
He's had like how much time has he had? How much time has he had to like recover?
It's been like a year.
Wow. A long time.
It's
Very
been
long
like
time.
it's significant. It was a bad injury.
Also, what's his face is back after what, a year and a half? Andre Roberson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
OKC hasn't played their first actual game yet, but in exhibition, his defense looked back on point.
I think OKC is gonna be a force to be reckoned with in these playoffs. I wouldn't want to play OKC in the first round.
They're gonna be fun. They're gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah.
But here's another thing that we need to throw into consideration. Chris Paul is what, 35? Going 36?
Probably.
I mean, LeBron is 35. Chris Paul.
Everybody's not LeBron. First of all, everyone's not LeBron, right? CP is known for being injury prone. That's one.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, his skill set is still there, but you don't lose the skill set, but skills do fade, and athleticism does fade. So I'm just curious to see, like, with this condensed amount of time that we have, there's going to be a lot of frequent games. I don't think as much time in between, and it's a lot more pressure on the line. So it's like, how much can his body take before it breaks? Because I mean, it's been a pattern over the past couple of years. So I'm just curious to see, how well they do. Because I mean, I really do feel he's like the focal point of that team. And if he's not there, then it's over.
I don't know. I mean, he's the focal point in terms of facilitating, but when it comes to like scoring, Dennis Schroeder has been a better scorer than him all year. You know what I mean? Gilgeous-Alexander can put up numbers in bunches. You know what I mean? Gallinari's been having a great year. You know what I mean? So they've got multiple scoring.
They have scoring, but at the end of the day, it's like a lot of the time a good portion of the time, CP is the one that's playmaking. He's actually the one that's orchestrating. So you can have all the pieces, but if you don't have someone to actually, orchestrate it, then you might have, it's going to be hard, and not a lot of people have that playoff like mentitude, that fortitude, So I know there's some vets, but some of the younger guys, I don't know how much playoff experience that they have. So that plays a role. That definitely plays a role.
I think in OKC's case, any wins that they get in the playoffs is just gravy for them, because I don't think anybody expected this season to go the way that it was supposed to. No one expected Chris Paul to want to play in OKC, and also just like actually accept his role and be that mentor to all the young guys on that team, and like actually seem to have fun on OKC. And I don't think they expected to be in the playoffs when the Paul George trade happened. They were just like, we have 20 draft picks that we're just gonna friggin' stockpile over the next 3 years and see what happens. So any wins that they get is just gravy to them, because it's like, we have all these young guys, they're in the playoffs, they get to experience it, and let alone the weirdest playoffs anybody's ever seen before.
Yes.
So they're just going to be like, just have fun. Like, just don't. There's no pressure. If you guys beat whoever they're playing, it's like that's on them basically.
I think they're going to beat Utah in the first round. I really do. I think they're going to beat Utah.
You know, one thing I feel like we may forget is that fact that if it's even in the playoffs, it's not like they actually have to fly to that team state, you know? So every game is sort of kind of going to feel like home because there's no actual real fans there. So, you know, it's a lot of added pressure when you're playing, like, for instance, you're playing like the Oracle or something like that, and you're an away team. It's like very intimidating. But playing in the bubble, you know, I'm curious to see how it plays out because that element is no longer there.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think that you're going to see less 7-game series, honestly, because I do feel like home games play a huge part and they play a huge advantage. Like, you could blow a team out, go up 2-0. You've seen it happen so many times before. You go up 2-0, and then you travel to the other team's arena, and it's like you lay an egg. You know what I mean? So now that there's no home court advantage, I feel like we're probably going to see a lot more sweeps, 5-game series, you know what I mean? Maybe 6-game series, but I don't expect to see that many 7-game series anymore. That's just my opinion.
Another thing I expect from OKC, I expect Steven Adams to start fighting people left, right, and center because like he's gonna have a field day against some smaller teams.
Oh yeah.
Him and Gobert is gonna be just a fun physical matchup to see if they play Utah in the first round. I think the last sort of takeaway from yesterday's games was the James Harden show against Dallas. That game. I mean, it's no surprise that James Harden puts that stat line up, but of course the $1 million question is, can he do that for a full series? Can he do that for a full playoff run?
I mean, if he's not playing the Warriors, he should be able to.
I don't know, man. I was watching the game last night, and, I mean, James Harden, I mean, he wowed me. He definitely wowed me. One thing I will say, I feel like the Mavericks let that one go. I love Luka Doncic, but come on. Porzingis had 39 points last night. You know what I mean? You're playing a smaller team like the Rockets. I feel like in the last couple of minutes of that game, Porzingis should have been the focal point. You know what I mean? Even the shot that they took to go to overtime, like Luka took a wildly contested deep three. You know what I mean? They could have got a way better shot. They had 3 seconds. You know what I mean? I just feel like he's an amazing playmaker, but sometimes, you know, the immaturity shows. And, I mean, he's in his second year, so it's to be expected. But in situations like that, I feel like they need to give KP more of, you know, more control.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
to play devil advocate to what you're saying, though, prior, like early in the season, it was really the Luka Doncic show. And I had KP on my fantasy team, and I gave him up. He was playing like trash. I mean, he had an amazing game.
Let me tell you something. As soon as you gave him up, he started averaging 30 points a game and 12 rebounds.
But that was because Luka was out, though. Remember, Luka was out when he was out.
No. But here's the thing. You're talking about somebody that came to a new team. You got to get acclimated to a new offense. You got a whole new roster to play with.
That's my point exactly. You came to a new team, but it's like at the same time, it's still kind of like, I agree. Porzingis should have gotten the ball in those last moments because he had the hot hand. But when you also play devil advocate, it's kind of like, well, Luka has been the closer. You know what I mean? Like, realistically speaking, right? Let's say we look at, like, the 0-10 Lakers. Pal could be having a great game, but in their final moments, how often is it that Pal's going to be the one to get that last shot opposed to Kobe?
Nah, I hear you, but here's the thing. Luka hasn't been doing a good job at closing. You know what I mean? Like, they were talking about that in the game last night. That's one of the Mavericks' biggest issues. Down the stretch, closing the game out. They're terrible at it. And the reason that they're terrible at it is because they don't have a definite closer. They keep bouncing back and forth between Luka, Porzingis, and Hardaway Jr. You know what I mean? It's kind of like what Miami went through the first year that Wade and LeBron were. They didn't have that. They don't know who the go-to guy is down the stretch yet. You know what I mean? And Luka, I'm not going to say he's not clutch, but Porzingis has proven in the past that he lives for those moments. You know what I mean? So you got a guy like Porzingis on your team, and he's hot. He has 39 points. He can shoot over anybody. You can't contest Porzingis' jump shot.
That's true.
Go ahead.
I'll throw 2 points out there to also play devil's advocate. One, Luka is the star player of the team. You live and die by your star player usually. 2, I can see this being a bit of a pilot, seeing how he had, him being young and being the future of your team. You let him work in these scenarios where you're not risking too much by losing. I mean, it's a regular season game, and you see how he handles it. Then you can take that going forward for strategies down the line in the playoffs, right? Dallas could meet Houston. What didn't work last time? How do we make it work this time? So I don't think it's a big deal to let him learn through these mistakes or learn through trial and error. But I think if you're going to give anyone this opportunity in a moment like that, you're going to give it to your main guy.
Yo, Fit.
First.
Yo, Fit.
Here's what I will say real quick. Last night's game was a huge game. It wasn't one of those games that you don't mind losing. They had to win last night's game, and I'll tell you why. Last night's game was the difference. Well, it made a big difference between the 6th seed and the 7th seed. Right now, them and the Rockets, I think they were like a game and a half. You know what I mean? Losing that game last night, it puts the Rockets, I think it's 2 games in front of them now. So now they got to work harder. Nobody wants to play the Clippers in the first round. You know what I mean? So right now, they would play the Clippers in the first round. The Mavericks don't want that.
The Clippers, are the Clippers second in the West? I thought they were third.
No, they're second.
Oh, I thought Denver still had the 2 seed.
Denver's right behind them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so that was a dangerous loss for them. I mean, I hear what you're saying. Luka is definitely the star on that team. But I don't know, man. Like, in a situation like that, I mean, that's why LeBron is so great. You know what I mean? He has a plethora of game-winning shots, but if Anthony Davis has the hot hand, he's going to give it to Anthony Davis down the stretch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's because LeBron's at the tail end of his career, and he knows where he knows how to make the best out of a certain situation. Luka's at the beginning of his career. These are the times in which he's going to learn. He's going to get that basketball IQ. He's going to learn to look at the situation and find what the best move for him to make is, whether it's taking the shot, passing it, so on.
You're right. You're definitely right.
So there's going to be this, second year. He's got a lot to learn, but he's going to be that guy for this team. He's going to be the one to make.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, there's some games for these seeding games where you have to remember which team it's a luxury for and which ones they're not. For Dallas, some of them could be, but that game was not one of those ones. Like Milwaukee against Boston, that's more of a luxury on Milwaukee than like a Boston, for example, right? Or, well, I mean, any of the games with like the bottom Western team, that they have to go all in on those games, right? Like New Orleans couldn't afford the bad coaching with Zion and stuff like that. So, I mean, actually, no, it was meaningful for the Clippers against the Lakers because, like we said, Denver's right behind them, and they don't want to slip. They don't want to slip to third place. I don't know. I thought Jack was going to say something before, but
yeah, go ahead, Jack.
I guess he stepped out. Let's move on to the games that are on today. And
can I throw a quick question at you guys?
Okay.
Go ahead.
I know teams have only played one game and a few teams haven't played yet. But who do you think is going to get that 8th seed in the West?
Honestly, from what I saw yesterday, I think it's going to be Portland, man. And the reason I say that, if Carmelo Anthony is rolling like this motherfucker had 2 steals. He had 2 steals.
Yo, not only that,
Carmelo Anthony had
70% from the field and 50% from 3. Like, I saw that, and I texted immediately. I was like, yo, Melo got to get drug tested because this shit don't make no sense.
Bruh. If you got
and
Carmelo
CJ was also efficient too. CJ was all 3 of them were pretty efficient. So I'm like, that's scary. Very scary.
And then Nurkic playing the way he played, you know what I mean? You got Hassan Whiteside coming off the bench now. It's like, I don't know, man. That Blazers team,
they could be a wild card. They could be a wild card.
They could actually make Figs take his words back about Damian Lillard. Who knows?
I was pretty set that the Pelicans were going to be the ones to take it, but seeing how impactful Nurkic's return is for that team, and I think if any team feels slighted by not making the playoffs, it would be Portland the most.
Of course.
With all the players, all the personalities on that team, the star power, right? You know, Grizzlies, Pelicans, they're young. They'll have their chance down the road. The Spurs, they're past their prime. You know, no one's going to be shocked if they don't make it. But I think Portland's the team that they're like, we still need to prove ourselves.
Yeah, Memphis is a good team, but I don't think Memphis is holding on to that 8th spot. You know, no disrespect.
Can we talk about the greatness of Ja? Can we just talk about how great Ja is?
Oh man, this kid's career is gonna be bright.
If he stays healthy, like he reminds me of like a Westbrook with a jump shot.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Also the coming out party for Jaren Jackson. I always get the Jacksons confused in Memphis. The one who dropped 30 for Memphis. That was a big game for him.
Mm-hmm.
That kid is gonna.
Yeah, it was like what 30? Was it 33?
It was just over 30. I get confused because they have Josh Jackson and Jaren Jackson. I can't it's just it's so annoying.
I was looking at the scorecard. I'm like, yo, who is this? Like, who is
that
this guy?
Kid is gonna be special. He's gonna be special. Like I have them in I play 2K. I play my GM, right? So I think I'm in my 3rd year in my GM. Jaren Jackson is like a 96 overall, bro. Like that kid is gonna be special. Like the thing about him, he plays inside out. You know what I mean? He plays amazing defense. He can hit a shot from anywhere on the floor, and he could go inside and dunk on you. So it's like, if he stays healthy, him and Ja in a couple of years, man.
Yeah,
that's gonna be fun. Okay, so moving on to the games that are on today, we've got in 5 minutes of this recording at 1 o'clock Miami versus Denver, 3:30 Utah versus OKC, 6 o'clock Pelicans Clippers, 7 o'clock Philadelphia versus Indiana. And then the main event at 8:30, Lakers versus Raptors.
Woo. Woo.
What are we expecting tonight, gentlemen?
Raptors W.
I love the energy. I love it. I'm hoping the same thing.
Oh man.
But
I don't know, man. I'm curious. I don't know. Like I don't have. Well, Lakers and Raptors. I expect the Lakers to win. No, I expect the Lakers. But everything else is like I'm curious to see how it plays out. I'm just curious. Honestly, I don't have a prediction. I just want to see basketball at this point, man.
What did you say the first game was? The first game is Miami and Denver?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I want to see Jokic. I haven't seen Jokic yet, and I heard he like shredded a lot of weight. So
he did.
I haven't seen him play.
Yeah, I really want to see Jokic play. I'm a big Jokic fan, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to do with this team, you know, given, you know, the changes he's made physically.
I'll tell you whose game is going to suffer the most. I'll tell you whose game is going to suffer the most. Jamal Murray's game is going to suffer the most.
Oh, no. Don't.
Because of Jokic?
No.
He
doesn't have certain assets that he had before, you know. He can't yeah. He doesn't have anything to fall back on, so to speak. You know what I mean?
That's what sucks about the bubble, bro.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
No coming in or out.
Bubble, toil, and trouble, my nigga. Yeah, you know.
I want to see Miami because they were one of the hottest teams in the East before everything shut down.
I heard what's his name? Hero, whatever his name, Hero. I believe Tyler Hero. Yes, I saw that he's been working on his game. Like, since they got to the bubble, he's been working really hard. So I actually had him as a sleeper team because man, they was on a roll.
Oh yeah,
they were balling, and I kind of forgot that Jimmy Butler was there because they had so many pieces that was just like rolling on, you know, all cylinders. So I mean, that's gonna be a very good game.
Oh yeah,
Denver and the Heat. So, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
and it's two very like team orientated players. Like there's not so much a particular superstar on either team that's really ball dominant. It's a lot of fluid ball movement. So everybody plays, everyone eats, everyone touches the ball. So I'm really looking forward to that game.
Yeah, they're similar teams. They got similar style of play, so it should definitely be a good one.
I'm curious to see if they play Iguodala and what he's going to do because this is what he wanted. He wanted to be on a playoff team after the whole saga in Memphis and him holding out. So let's see if they actually use him.
They're not going to activate him until the playoffs, though.
Sometimes I think I forget how deep the Heat really are. Like, I know a lot of them are young guys that are, still working on their craft, but they have been in the midst of like breakout season, some of these rookies.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, if you feel like you can count on them still after those guys, you still got like Olynyk, Derek Jones Jr., Jay Crowder, Iguodala, a lot of like, savvy vets that you can count on, Dragic. And then you got Butler, not a bio, who I think is the most improved player this season. And shit, man, like after Milwaukee, I think they're the scariest team as a Raptors fan looking.
I agree. I do think the Celtics will find a way to get past them, but I feel like they are the scariest team after Milwaukee, as in nobody wants to face Miami. I know you guys remember what Jimmy Butler was doing in the playoffs last year. If it wasn't for Kawhi's miracle shot, the Sixers might have very well went to the finals. You know what I mean? So
I think the Heat match up very well with the Bucks, and if they play as the 1 and 4 in the playoffs, I'd be worried as the Bucks. Because that they do very well.
Yes,
yeah,
you're right.
Giannis don't want to run into Bam. I'll tell you that right now. He don't want to see Bam.
Listen, if I'm the Bucks, I'm trying to avoid the Heat at all costs, bro. I'm trying to avoid the Heat at all costs if I'm the Bucks. That's the one team in the, you know what I mean? I think Boston could get him too, but we saw what Bam did to him the last time they played.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if I'm Giannis, I would be very afraid.
Otherwise, I'm very curious about Sixers-Pacers, just as like an Eastern Conference fan. I don't expect much of either of those teams long-term in this bubble play, but you want to see how they look, how they shaped up.
I just want to see what's his name? His name slipped my mind. Pacers. He was injured. He finally came back. Oladipo. Yes.
Is he playing? Is that like a?
Yeah, he's playing. He's playing. Yeah, that's why I would tune in. I want to see him play. I'll be honest with you. I don't really care for the Sixers. Really. I really don't. But I would tune in and see Oladipo play because, man, before he got hurt, man, he was on a tear. I hope he can get back to playing at that level again, man, because the Pacers was in a really good position prior to him getting hurt. So it'd be interesting to see how far he's come along since that injury.
So I think Oladipo, it's up to him whether he's playing today.
Yeah, the Pacers have Oladipo and Brogdon listed as game time decisions. And Sabonis. So
Sabonis always sucks.
Play, then the Pacers. Sorry.
Okay, got you. I mean, to me, man, the Sixers are. I feel like they were a lot more fun to watch last year. You know what I mean? This year,
Jimmy.
they're not. They don't really do it for me. Like, no disrespect to Ben Simmons, the guy is talented, but watching him play is boring, man. It's boring. He's not. He ain't fading away on nobody. He ain't, coming up court hitting no threes. You know what I mean? I mean, even Giannis. Last night we saw Giannis bring the ball up in transition and drain a couple threes. It's just like, oh shit, he can do that. Like, Ben Simmons ain't doing that shit. You know what I mean? It's just like Tobias Harris is good, but he's no Jimmy Butler. You know what I mean? Last year, Jimmy Butler gave them that it factor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't feel like they have the it factor this year.
Also, as Joel Embiid revealed in a recent interview, the Kawhi shot still haunts him to this day. So let's see how that.
That's gonna haunt them forever.
What else is on today?
Oh, real quick. We have to discuss this before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
That Giannis foul last night. I don't know if everybody watched the game, but Giannis apparently fouled out on a play. I think it was a reach. It was clearly a foul.
The offensive foul that got changed.
No, not that one. There was a foul before that. There was a foul before that where he was supposed to foul out of the game. The refs changed the call to, what was it called, Frankie? What the hell was the shit called?
I can't remember, like malicious intent or whatever it was. It wasn't like a flagrant or whatever. Some
nonsense.
They turned it into a no call, basically.
Yeah.
Rating.
Because at least the other foul, like, it made sense that they switched it from a charge to a blocking foul.
That foul made sense. Foul made sense. Yeah. But the first one is just like, bruh.
Yeah.
Like, I've been watching the NBA since I was 5 years old. I've never seen no shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, where was that energy in Game 3 against Toronto? Where was that energy? When I needed them to do that, they ain't do it. But you want to do this shit now? Like, nah, man, fuck y'all. Refs.
Yeah, that was maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're either the refs are rusty or they're in mid-season form. I don't know how to gauge that one. I also wanted to point it out for Clippers and Pelicans. Let's see how the young guys in New Orleans go up against Kawhi and the fun guys. Because that's gonna be an interesting one. Because
Zion's gonna put someone on a poster. I'm feeling Zion's gonna put someone on a poster.
So is Zion on a minutes restriction?
He's on a stupid coach restriction. That's what he's on.
Yeah, like I don't understand why he didn't play more.
Yeah, we couldn't figure that out either yesterday.
I mean, he's healthy, I'm assuming.
He is, but I feel like that restriction cost them the game. Because if Zion was in that game, they were winning that game easily.
Yeah, I mean, he's Zion, bro. Why? What else do you say? What are you saving him for? You want to make the playoffs, no?
Yeah, the NBA bent over backwards to get them into this play-in scenario because they could have made the cutoff much shorter than like Phoenix, Sacramento, and New Orleans.
Yeah.
All right,
what other games are on today?
Raptors, Lakers, Utah, OKC.
Utah, OKC. Ooh, that's the first round matchup right there.
Yeah, it's going to be a very good preview of what's to.
I say OKC surprises them, man.
I said the other day Utah needs Bogdanović healthy as their third option.
Oh yeah.
Because that game against New Orleans, they were struggling to find the non-Gobert Mitchell option.
Man, listen, the thing about Bogdanović, that guy is super clutch, man. Like, he lives for moments down the stretch. I'll never forget the series with the Cavs and the Pacers a couple years ago. LeBron's last year in Cleveland, Bogey was killing them. He was killing them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a big part of the reason that series went to 7 games. You know what I mean? So, yeah, they're not the same team without him. They're definitely not.
And we touched on the Raptors Lakers. I'm just glad that this is like a primetime game, that the Raptors didn't get stuck in like the 1 o'clock seed as the reigning champions. Like, for God's sake, it's about time. Because if it was, I mean, I guess if it wasn't against the Lakers, I could see them easily being like, oh yeah, they're gonna be the 1 o'clock game, you know.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, because God forbid they actually recognize they're the friggin' champions, for God's sake. I spend more time talking about like the Celtics and the Sixers in the East than the actual Raptors. But anyway, it's to be expected.
Actually, I saw, what was it? Get Up or I don't know, one of those like talk shows in the morning. The one with Rachel Nichols. And she was talking to Tracy McGrady and Kendrick Perkins about the team they expect to come out of the East. So McGrady says Bucks, and Perkins says Raptors. And not even like as a Raptors fan that I want him to say our team's name, but to hear McGrady tell him like he's wrong and that his opinion's invalid and don't bring that on the show, like go with the Celtics. Don't tell a man what to think.
Here's the thing about
opinion. That's his opinion.
Here's the thing, like, we're talking about Kendrick Perkins. Like, Kendrick Perkins, like, he be cooning sometimes. So sometimes he got to be set straight. You know what I mean? Kendrick Perkins be cooning sometimes.
Hey, man.
Nah, he do.
If you ask them for their opinion, you get their opinion. You tell them what to think.
It's funny you mentioned Kendrick Perkins because did anybody see him on First Take the other day?
No.
Him and Max got into a heated discussion about James Harden, and he was, like, huffing and grunting. He was, like, so frustrated with Max, like, going after him. It was not good. It did not look good.
So wait a minute. What was the discussion? Like,
I can't remember what it was, but basically, I think it was basically Perkins was like Perkins was pro Harden and like Max was like anti Harden, and like whatever Max was saying, it got Perkins like really like huffing and grunting and like really visibly upset that like he was getting like getting through the ringer basically. It was really weird. I have to look it up again, but I think it was about last night's game or whatever. But he was upset. I
feel like you can't do that, man. Like, you know, doing shows like this, there's gonna be a lot of heated debates. You know, Skip Bayless and Shannon go at it all the time. You don't see them.
I think Stephen A had to say, like, you need to calm down. Like, that's how bad it was.
Max be low key trolling, with no expression on his face. He be trolling sometimes with his points, and it's like Kendrick is like, yo, bro, you gotta just know, like, this is part of the game, man. Like, sometimes people just gonna say things that's gonna rub you wrong.
Yeah.
They might have prepared and said, they said certain things that you just wasn't prepared for, so you just don't know how to respond. You just gotta eat it. It just comes along with the territory. You know what I mean?
Oh, here we go. This was the argument. Max Kellerman said he'd take Luka Doncic over James Harden.
In terms of like what? Like
I have to watch the video, but like
I think I might have to agree with Perk there because they both don't play defense. So I'm probably gonna have to agree with Perk there. I'm not taking
the question was just simply which star would you have on your team, basically.
I'd rather have Harden.
Right now, yeah, Harden.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I would take Harden. Like, if we talking about currently right now, I'm taking Harden. If we're talking about, like building a team right now, then I would probably go with Luka just off the fact that he's younger. But right now, why wouldn't I take a reigning MVP?
Yeah, if you're trying to win, if you're trying to win right now, I'm taking Harden. If you got like a 5-year plan, of course you go Luka. But if you're trying to win a championship right now, it's got to be Harden.
There's no one that can guard Harden like right now.
Nobody.
Like one-on-one, I don't think there's anyone that can really guard Harden. He's perfected his craft down to a science. Like he's at his peak right now. Like, why wouldn't I take Harden? It just,
But I feel like Max likes to play devil's advocate. You know what I mean?
It's like the same value of having people butt heads.
Yeah.
Right? They don't want two people to go on and agree on the same question.
Of course, because it would be corny. It's
exactly.
But that's what made me upset with Tracy's, because Perk wasn't gonna pick the Bucks because then there's no show. But don't tell him he's wrong and should pick someone else just so, like, come on, I don't like that.
Listen, Tracy McGrady should have picked a better trainer. Maybe his back would have never went out on him. How about that?
Well, first and foremost, we're gonna put some respect on this Hall of Famer's name.
Listen, I love T-Mac. I love T-Mac. T-Mac is one of my top 5 favorite players. But come on, man, like he always goes with the boring choice. Like if you look at all of his takes are always boring as shit. Like, bro, like spice it up. Like you always go with the predictable take. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta think outside the box.
Maybe that's what his role is, bro. Maybe his role is to be on the show and play it safe, and then they have somebody else that picks an extreme, like,
His role was to stay healthy. He couldn't do that. So don't try to play your role now, motherfucker.
That's not his fault, bro. That's the trainer's fault, man. That's not his fault.
He's learned from the past. He's just trying to stay safe.
His role was to get out the first round. He couldn't do that either. Sure.
Oh, no.
Look, like, realistically speaking, like, he legitimately did not have any help.
What? Yao Ming?
He had no help. How many times did he actually play alongside Yao Ming in the playoffs where they both were healthy?
The 1 year that they did,
the one year that they did, bro.
Bro, didn't they lose to fucking Carlos Boozer with his Bosley and fucking what's his name? Darren Williams?
But that's when they were nice.
But, bro, they were never that nice. Like, Darren Williams and Carlos Boozer over McGrady and Yao Ming.
I don't think Yao played that series.
He did.
You sure Yao played that series?
Yes. So, like, bro.
T-Mac has been on the Rockets since, what, 04? From 04 to, like, what, 09?
Yeah.
So, it's a total of 5 years. How many times, out of them 5 years, how many years did he actually play alongside Yao in the playoffs?
Maybe 2. But, bro, it's so real. They made a documentary about that team. I forgot the name of it, but they were basically saying, like, what if? Like, nigga, what if my ass? Like,
but, here's the kicker, right? Here's the one part that I don't understand, right? The Rockets got further in the playoffs, right, against Kobe and company without Yao and T-Mac, with Ron Artest and
Aaron Brooks.
Aaron Brooks leading the charge. I'm just kind of like, yo, bro, you can't talk about playoffs, bro. That's not for you. You don't get to talk about playoffs, bro. I don't want to hear shit, bro.
They took the Lakers to 7 games, bro. Like,
when I say Aaron Brooks and what was homie name that was running the pick and roll with him at that time? It was Aaron Brooks
Landry.
and yes, Carl Landry. Yo, they were looking like the Lob City of they were looking like Lob City at that time. They was looking like CP and like DeAndre Jordan or like Blake Griffin. And T-Mac was just sitting there watching, like dressed up in like some fun ass suits. But it's just like, bro, you don't get to talk about player predictions, bro.
Yo, Aaron Brooks was Jeremy Lin before Jeremy Lin, bro. Like,
Wow.
The way he lit the pictures up, that motherfucker was Jeremy Lin before Jeremy Lin, bro. I know Kobe was probably like, who the fuck is this ugly motherfucker? I got to bust my ass.
Yo, every time Kobe asks that question, he gets his ass bust, bro. Every time, man. Yo, Kobe, that's my dog, bro. But every time he asks that question, he finds out the hard way. Remember when he was asking about Lynn Sanity? He was like, yo, who is Lynn Sanity? Yeah, you found out, sure enough. Rolled into town, he definitely found out.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Unless there's any final predictions for tonight's games, I think we should move things along.
Happy Ball's back. I want to watch it all. That's it.
Yeah, same here.
Mm-hmm.
Donovan Mitchell's dropping 50. That's my prediction. He's dropping 50. Jokic is dropping 50. Melo's going to drop 65 off straight jump shots.
Oh, shit.
Yo, I'm telling you, Hoodie Melo's back, man. Like, mark my words, man. Hoodie Melo's back, man. I don't know how much he's back for, but he's back.
That first preseason game where he was caught on mic, he's like, give me that ball, motherfucker. It's like, oh, shit.
Yeah. He's like, fuck out of here. I got it.
Lowry and Ibaka are getting 20-plus each tonight.
Lowry and Ibaka? Wait, what?
Wow.
Lowry and Ibaka are getting 20-plus each tonight.
20 assists,
Lowry,
20 boards, like what we
Lowry
doing?
ain't even getting
20 points.
He's getting 20-piece nuggets tonight. That's what Lowry's getting tonight.
I know you're a hater, but you watch.
Lowry.
Yo, I'm all for it.
Ooh.
That's like, yo, listen, man, you gotta speak things into existence. You know, you gotta let things manifest. You know, they say life and death's in the power of the tongue. So if they gonna get 20, they gonna get 20, man. I love it, man. I love the confidence you have in your team, man. It's so refreshing, man. Like having confidence in a team that actually like goes places and win. You know, like unlike certain teams, you know.
I don't like where this is going. Move on. I don't like where this is. I see the setup. I see the shit happening. Nah.
Is there some sort of local team, Fro, that you're referring to? I'm not sure. I don't know. You might need to explain that a little bit more.
Oh, yeah, actually there is. There is. Probably one of the most renowned ball clubs in the NBA, you know. They call the arena the Mecca of basketball, but nobody wins shit there. I don't understand, but you know, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not even gonna go further.
No. They call it the Mecca because there's constant praying in the stands. Like, just give me a win. Just give me a win, please.
Yo, I think those fans, like most of them are atheists, but that's the only time they call on God, man. Like when they're at those
Yo. You know what? I thought today was gonna be the day that we made it through an entire episode without talking shit about the day. I was so confident, bro. I was so confident.
Today's not that day.
Today. Yo, man, look, I'm not saying no names. I'm not naming a particular ball club, you know. We're not gonna send no shots, no subliminals, you know. We just, you know, that's it, man, you know.
That's funny.
Wait, what team are you referring to?
Oh, you know.
Oh,
you know.
I assumed it was, the Detroit Pistons, but okay.
Oh, nah, not the Pistons, man. Not the Pistons. I mean, you know, yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not, you know, man, you know what? We're not gonna go there today. We gonna
you know what? We'll have to find out another podcast. We're gonna have to find out what this mystery team is.
Listen, you can't come in here on some Malcolm X shit and now you want to be Martin Luther King. Nah, fuck that.
Oh, the Knicks.
Sorry,
threw me off.
Yeah, the cat, you know, the cat's out the bag now, you know.
Listen, man.
You said professional ball club. I didn't think of them.
Yo, you know what's crazy, man? Like, I remember one podcast, man. Like, yo, I don't know, man. I might get canceled after this, man. But yo, I remember like when a specific owner caught COVID, people were rejoicing, man, and he pulled through. And it's like a lot of people were upset about that, man. Like me personally, I wouldn't wish death on nobody, man. But man, I feel sorry for that organization, man, because man, it sucks to wake up and punch the clock every day knowing that's who you work for, you know, like that organization, man. Like, dog, like.
Oh, the White House.
What happened?
You talking about the White House?
Oh, no. All right, I think
man,
we're really gonna get canceled after this.
Don't we got some other shit to talk about? Like, what's going on?
Actually, yes, we do. Because speaking of storied and skeptical organizations, the Houston Astros were playing baseball the other day against the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the Dodgers, who they beat for the World Series, have an axe to grind because of all the cheating that's been going on that the Astros have been caught doing. And reliever Joe Kelly on the Dodgers said, "You know what? F this. I'm going for heads." So he, during his inning of relief, he hit Alex Bregman to get him on base. And then when Bregman was on first base, he was doing pickoffs to first where he was aiming for his ribs and like hitting him as he was like sliding back to first base. Then a couple batters later, Carlos Correa comes up and Kelly throws at his head and he ducked. And then Kelly proceeds to strike out Correa and starts like chirping him as he's walking off to the dugout. And then Correa like throws his gloves off, tries to like fight Kelly, and Kelly's like, and like sticks his tongue out at him for striking him out. And despite the fact that no one on Houston as a player has been suspended for their sign stealing all of last year that led to a World Series championship, Joe Kelly has been suspended 8 games for what he did. And that has caused a lot of uproar about that because there's been no crimes.
I gotta start watching baseball.
Sorry?
I think I got to start watching baseball. That sounds entertaining.
You got to watch pretty much anybody that the Astros are playing. They're going to get hit. Someone's getting hit with a pitch because it's been really consistent so far.
That's always been the best part of baseball to me when they start fighting over shit like that. That's always been the best part. But the MLB is a shit show, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shit show.
They're a shit show for other reasons beyond that, but that at least has entertainment value.
There's a Twitter account that basically is following the Astros and like posting every single like hit from pitch or like anything bad the Astros doing. It's like this account's like mission to like just roast the Astros the entire season. It's a fantastic follow. I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but it's a lot of fun. And what's it called? I'm gonna search it right now because they deserve all the credit. Oh, it's the 2020 Astros Shame Tour at * Tour on Twitter.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Well, I mean, I don't follow baseball too much, but the whole cheating scandal's been confirmed. Yeah, and like the team's been fined. They lost draft picks, and like the manager and the general manager have been like suspended for a year, and they both quit the Astros. And one of the coaches that ended up being that was hired as was Beltran. Beltran quit as a manager. One of the coaches that became the manager of the Red Sox also like quit. Like a lot of manager and general manager guys got affected, but none of the players got suspended or fined or anything. So was the cheating motivated by players specifically or by the organization as a whole? Because then if it's an organization doing, then I guess those consequences are just. But if the players...
It was way too elaborate for the players not to be directly involved with it because they had cameras set up at center field that would watch the opponent's catchers do their signs, and then that would be relayed to the dugout so that they can get a better idea of what pitches to expect from their opponents. And it's not one of those things where like you as a player, you start to pick up on things. Cause that's what happens in baseball. Like you can pick up on things yourself. But when you have technology at play, like cameras and stuff, that's where like red flags come up, and that's where you get into shit. Because you can steal signs in baseball as a player. You can do it in football, obviously. Also, if you know what a quarterback's going to do, right? But
do the Astros still have their title?
Yep.
Well, that's bullshit.
And the owner flat out like denied anything happened.
In that case, players should receive consequences. At least strip them of the title, because if cheating's been proven, how do you allow them to be known as champions?
And as I alluded to, the Dodgers were the team that they played against last year to win the World Series, so they have an extra.
That grudge is
extra grudge.
And they also knocked my Yankees out of the playoffs. You know what I mean? So
there it is.
Strip them of that goddamn title.
Also, there was a video of like all the blatant examples of the Astros like doing, because they like their signal was like they would bang on a trash can if it was like an off-speed pitch, I think it was, and there was a clear one against the Blue Jays. So I'm very bitter about that as well. So I mean, they're not playing the Astros. The Dodgers aren't playing the Astros anymore. Thank God for the Astros, I guess. But anybody that the Astros are playing, like something's gonna happen. It's been pretty consistent.
There's gonna be a lot of heat. I remember the situation where Altuve didn't want to take off his shirt. Like, it's gonna be a lot of heat.
Yeah, that was the buzzer, the alleged buzzer.
Mm-hmm. There's gonna be a lot of heat when it comes to the Astros this year. I mean, it's well deserved though. It's well deserved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't feel any sympathy, quite frankly. Even though, ironically, I do have Carlos Correa on my fantasy baseball team, but I'm not crying if he doesn't get as many stats as some of the other guys I have. Now, moving on to another short little segment here. Basketball is the only sport that's back this week. Hockey's back, and if Phil was here, we would do a little bit of predictions of what to expect tonight. There's games going on all day, just like the NBA is. So if you need a little break to get another sports fix, anybody, hockey's back, which is fantastic.
You want to save hockey for another date? Because I'm not NHL savvy.
Well, I just want to get something off my chest, because the NHL has dropped the ball a little bit on addressing some of the social injustice stuff that's been going on. If you know it's bad when baseball upstages you for addressing certain things. So, you know, baseball, people were taking the knee during the anthem. The NBA has the whole setup. We all know that. Messages, jerseys, court, all that stuff. Hockey's attempt to address it but not address it was to have all the players, like, instead of lining up against each other, they had like every other person. So like it was like Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. They have them all lined up together, or like have them in a circle or something. And they were claiming that, you know, that's how they were standing in solidarity and stuff like that. But they're like, it's confusing because it wasn't clear at first that's what they were doing. And there's no messaging on like anybody's like shirts or on the ice or anything like that, which is unfortunate. And even some of the promo videos, they addressed, you know, the pandemic and everything that's been going on like that, but they don't really touch on all the other stuff. And I understand that hockey is significantly more Caucasian than the rest of the other leagues, but you still have a diverse fan base. You still have players that are non-white, and it was very disappointing to see. Like, I know they're not on the same scale as the other leagues, but I hope that they step it up a bit, because there's been quite a bit of backlash from fans being like either do nothing or do something more. Like, don't step around it to the point where like Eric Trump is tweeting, "Oh, that's great job, NHL, way to stand for the anthem." It's just like, fuck. Like, no, don't. It's backfired so badly.
But does that surprise you, bro? Gary Bettman has always been I don't want to call him names, but shady character, let's say. You know, his motivations are probably more financial than anything.
Yes, but as we've seen already, though, people will pay will pay for shirts that have like social messaging on them, whether it's jerseys or shirts or anything like that. And
yes, but imagine the fan base you lose by taking a stand, and that's what's sad to think that they're thinking about.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, but the NHL, their fan base is already small to begin with. They need anything to actually promote them on a global stage as they claim to do.
Yes, so keep the small viewers you have happy rather than entice new viewers that will watch.
That's the way they're approaching it, yeah. But it's sad because they've put so much effort into expanding in the States in particular, obviously, and they have all these teams in unconventional hockey markets where there's going to be a diverse fan base, and then it's just where they were just like, oh, ho hum, we're gonna half-ass this whole thing, and then now we're just gonna have to backpedal
disappointing
from fans that are concerned, where you have fans now posting photos of themselves in their hockey jerseys taking a knee instead, and that became like a social thing. So hopefully now that like there's actual meaningful games, hopefully they can sort of bounce back, but it's just frustrating as a fan, and it's a shame because God knows I've missed hockey. It's disappointing to say the very.
Yeah, well, hopefully they rectify things today. We'll see.
I hope so too. I haven't seen like one of the games already started, so hopefully they did something. But I'm not going to hold my breath anytime soon. On some more positive news. So even though we're ending on a disappointing note for NHL, if you can, for any non-hockey fans, watch some of it. It is fun, despite the fact that it's run by a bunch of people wearing blindfolds. So that's been another edition of Ignorant Sports Talk. I'm Curtis Pankey.
Also, the Leafs don't have Boston in the first round. So
yeah, we actually have a chance to see a fucking win. God damn it. So that's Ignorant Sports Talk. Thanks for joining us. Like, subscribe, share. Watch sports. They're back. A lot of NBA, NHL action. I've got soccer on my phone right now because I'm just that desperate for sports. So one last time, it's Curtis Pankey along with Jigs and Figs. And so long and stay ignorant, folks.